The historic hush money trial against former U.S. President Donald Trump has come to a close. We now take a look at some of the key issues to consider if a guilty verdict is announced. Let's start by telling you what happens if Trump is found guilty. Now, if the verdict is guilty, then he can still leave the court as a free man until sentencing hearing is scheduled. Let's now tell you about the factors that can be considered for sentencing. Number one, the age of Donald Trump. Trump, as of now, is 77 years old. Second factor is lack of previous convictions, if any. And lastly, his violations of the court's gag order. Now, if the verdict is guilty, Trump can appeal against it, but that procedure could take months and perhaps even longer. Trump's team would then face the Court of Appeals. And all this means that it is highly unlikely that the former U.S. President Donald Trump will leave the court in handcuffs if the verdict is guilty. Let's now tell you about the grounds for appeal. Number one, the evidence of adult movie star Stormy Daniels, whose alleged sexual encounter with Trump is at the heart of the case, could be one reason for appeals. Well, Trump's defense could argue that there are lack of details provided by Stormy Daniels, which could be a ground for appeal. Number two, prosecutors have alleged that violations of federal and state elections law apply to this case, but they have not informed. There have been no information about which federal or state law was broken, which can be the second ground of appeal. Legal experts say that there are questions around the scope and application of the federal law that could also form a basis for appeal. Now, the question in everybody's mind, can Trump go to prison? Can he be jailed? Well, in case of a guilty verdict, former U.S. President Donald Trump could serve behind bars. But there's also a high possibility that Justice Merchan could choose a lenient and a lesser punishment, keeping in mind Trump's age and lack of previous convictions. And lastly, it is also possible that the judge would weigh the unprecedented nature of the case and choose avoid putting the former U.S. President Donald Trump behind bars.